Hello and welcome back to the Pageant Gal podcast, my queens. You cannot see this right now, but we're actually doing a very special IG live episode where I'm actually recording this live. So some of you might have already heard this episode, some of you might be hearing it for the first time, but we have a very exciting episode nonetheless today because we are still doing our recap series of Miss Universe Canada and my journey to the national stage and the breakdown of what happened, the things that you saw, the things that you didn't see, what I did, what I didn't do, all of those good things in between. And today is a very fun episode. Fun, humorous, kind of heartbreaking, everything in between. What I'm sharing with you today are the things that you did not see that happened at Miss Universe Canada week. Now, there's so many things that you don't see. Every single person is going through things that you don't see, that you don't know about. The difference between me and those people is I am here to share it all with you and break it down for you. And there's going to be some very important, competitor lessons that you can take and apply for your own pageant journey. There's going to be things that are just like a what? That happened? I would have never known. Just some insights about different things. And overall, I hope that you're going to have a good time in this because there's always something fun, always something to learn. And I always say, just the craziest things happen at pageant week. Okay, we've all got those stories. The crazy stories kind of make pageant week a little bit more fun. But in no way am I here sharing anything about the organization. Okay, this is purely just my experience. I'm sure everyone else had different experiences, but this is not about like what happened at pageant week. This is really just like my own personal experience and things that happen that I'm like, of course, this would happen to me. But I take it, I learn from it, I bring the lessons to you so that if it's a mistake or a weird thing, you can know how to navigate it. So without further ado, we are going into it. And if you have not listened to my previous recap episode, last week I had Miss Universe Canada, Jamie Vandenberg, my good girlfriend who won the title. We did share all about her journey to the win. We shared about my journey to the first time I have not placed at a pageant. That was the result. We live to tell the day. We're okay with it. But these are some things, 5 core things that you did not see that happened at Miss Universe Canada. Let's go into it. And we're starting with one that every single one of you can take and learn from. Okay. This one is like a very valuable competitor coach insight that you just wouldn't realize until you're there. And the very first thing that you did not see that happened at Miss Universe Canada week, and again, this was specific to me, but I know it also happened to several other delegates, is that we went too hard on day one. So on day one, we had a welcome gala and there was dancing with a DJ. And let me tell you, I went too hard. I was screaming every song. I was singing at the top of my lungs, even though nobody could hear me. And I ended up having a very strained voice throughout the entire week. And the second day, I was like, I probably didn't need to be going that hard at the welcome party, but you get excited and you don't know how to contain yourself. You just want to let loose. But it lasted all the way. Honestly, it lasted the whole week because that combined with very low sleep, combined with you're always on, you're always moving and exerting your energy. Even in my interview, I still felt my voice was a little bit more strained. I definitely had like the Phoebe sexy voice for those of you that are Friends fans, and it sucked. And so going back, I totally wish that I would have just melded the words to some songs versus like screaming them at the top of my lungs. And on that note, too, the other thing that happened day one, this is like one in the same point. This is not a new point. Because we're not used to being in heels, because I wasn't used to having like my hair extensions, and this was the first time I ever had a hair piece. Shout out to Luxuric Medical Cosmetics, or Aesthetics, I should say, and Layal for sponsoring me the most gorgeous natural clip-in hair extension piece that literally changed the way that I existed in pageant week. I can't believe it's been 9 years and I've never had hair extensions. They were beautiful, but they were also a very heavy piece. And I don't think my body was used to, my head wasn't used to having it in. And also, about 4 weeks prior to competition, I ended up getting a severe neck strain due to bad sleep. And I couldn't move my head for 2 days. Like, I had to go to the doctor. I had Carlos take me to the doctor, like the urgent care clinic, because I was like, there's something wrong. Like, I can't move my head and it hurts. It's in so much pain. So we ended up going. I had to get a new pillow, like a prescription cervical neck pillow. I had physio ordered for me, which I never got to do because as if you have like any time before pageant week, although I should have made time. And then I also got a prescription for muscle relaxers, which I feel like were the thing that really helped me. but I didn't take all of them. I saved some of them because I thought to myself, if I have this happen at pageant week, I have no idea what I'm going to do because I was crying in pain. Day one of pageant week. I should technically say day two. So I strained my voice. I went too hard the next day. It wasn't in my neck that I strained it. It was in like my back right scapula, like right in between my shoulder blades. I could tell it was that same painful, strained feeling. And I brought a lacrosse ball with me. So this is all like pageant prep 101 for you. If you don't have a lacrosse ball or like a tennis ball or something you can use to roll out your feet, to roll out your tight muscles, that's a really great thing to bring with you to competition, especially for your feet, especially for your feet. But in this case, I was trying to roll my back out. It was not working. So, day one, I strained my voice, I strained my back. I was in a lot of pain. So, all the photos that you see me taking, like day one, day two, day three, day four, a lot of pain. And I'm very, again, so thankful that I kept a few of the muscle relaxers. I only had like five, and I would take them at night because I think they were prescribed twice a day. I don't know why I'm telling you all my prescription, but I couldn't take it during the day because they make me really drowsy. So, muscle relaxers, pain, strained voice. I was drowsy throughout the day too because they make you drowsy, and we were only getting like 4 to 5 hours of sleep. Like I had no time to even recover from the effects of them. So the first couple days were a little bit of a blur. And that's sometimes how it goes. And that's where you just have to keep showing up, right? This is where I say in pageant week, I don't say the words that I'm tired or I'm sore. I just am in the craziest different types of ways that you just try to manage it the very best that you can. And that's what I was doing. So the ways that I did that were I tried to rest my voice. There was actually one day where I told my roommate, I'm like, we're not going to talk. Like me and my roommate got along so well, but I was like, girl, I swear I'm not ignoring you. I'm like, you can talk to me. I just need to save my voice. I also had the echinacea ricolas that really helped with my throat. I actually kept a couple of them for finals night so that you know how you get that dry mouth feeling? I saved a couple of them for finals as well, but I took a couple before interview. It's just like a throat lozenge essentially, but it's the echinacea one. And then a tennis ball or a lacrosse ball to roll out your muscles. And then, hey, if you're able to get muscle relaxers prescribed for you, do it. I was taking Tylenol, I was taking Advil, I was taking everything, right? It was probably not a great combination, probably not a great cocktail of meds, but when you're in pain and you know you have hours of rehearsal, competitions happening, you're spending all day in heels, you would do anything to like feel better. So a mix of those things helped me feel better, but that's something that you wouldn't have noticed. And because I'm doing this live recording on Instagram as well, I just saw someone, I think it was Rowan, posted that you wouldn't be able to tell that you were in discomfort because you were just always taking photos and always engaging. And that is the smoke and mirrors of pageantry, baby, right? It looks so glamorous, but we all know there are things that happen that nobody can prepare you for. The second thing that happened, we're getting into something spicy. We're getting to some spice. Some of this is spicy, some of it is not spicy, but this one I think is really going to surprise some people. So, the second thing that you did not see that happened at Miss Universe Canada Pageant Week, it didn't technically happen at Miss Universe Canada Pageant Week, but a lot of people noticed it and messaged me about it. So, one thing that happened, I'm gonna give you a backstory. This is gonna shock some people. So, there is one very big pageant predictions page on Instagram. Does all the pageant predictions for USA, Universe, World, usually like the big five pageants. And they did not put me in their top picks, which I was not surprised about, but a lot of people were very surprised, and I could understand. I was standing out very well online, and not to be put in like this top 30 picks, people were like, what the heck? Like, who does this person know anything? I mean, apparently they did because they were right. That's on me. But why? Why was I not put into that top predictions list? What y'all did not see is the biggest pageant predictions page, which is also just like a fan page in pageantry, has me blocked on my personal Instagram page that I figured out a few weeks prior. I have no idea why. So, for context, I have the Pageant Gal Instagram page. That's where I'm most active. That's where my community is. And then I have my personal Instagram, Maria Cuevas TM, that I really only use for like pageant prep, travels, and just personal things. The page has me blocked on my personal page. They do not have me blocked on my business page. So I can follow them. I can see everything that they post on my business page. So I didn't even realize it until I went to go tag them in one of my Miss Universe Canada like prep posts, and I couldn't. And that's when I looked, and Y'all, Instagram just don't be blocking pages for no reason, right? And the crazy thing is, I have no idea why. Like, no clue why. I've never had a conversation with this person. My personal Instagram, like, isn't that big or anything like that. But yeah, for some reason, they have me blocked. And I have no idea. And it's probably not too hard to figure out who it is. But then what's crazier as well is that I thought, I'm like, okay, this person obviously hates me for some reason, and I have no idea why. But yet they don't hate me enough to block me on my pageant Instagram, on like my business Instagram. But then in the evening gown photos, I popped up first on like the evening gown he posted. I just outed him. He posted all of the evening gown photos of all of the delegates, and I was in the first slide. So I'm like, I don't even think he knows who I am, right? Like, I'm sure something, God knows what, something must have happened back in the day where they were like, Maria, cut her off from the source. I don't know. Maybe I was tagging them in too many things. No altercation happened, right? I'm not here causing pageant drama by any means. But yeah, they have me blocked. So it was funny when he posted his predictions and I wasn't in it. Everyone was messaging me like, "What are they on? Why did they not include you?" And I was like, he doesn't even follow me. Like, he has me fully blocked on my personal Instagram. So I'm just not surprised because typically they base it on the social media, on what they're seeing. And I'm like, he can't even see me online because he has me blocked. So I'm not surprised that I'm not included in this prediction. So the more you know, how many of you would lose your mind? I know so many girls that would lose their mind if they found that out. Me, that's just a regular Tuesday. And by the way, that's not the only thing that we're going to talk about today about people who blocked me. So stay tuned for that one. That's going to come on. The next thing, so that's the second thing. The next thing that you did not see that happened at Miss Universe Canada Pageant Week, that this one, I wanted to go spicy and then I wanted to go a little bit lighthearted. So the third thing that you didn't see at Miss Universe Canada Pageant Week is I would say we had 71 delegates there. I'm going to say that at least 10, like a good 10, came up to me and said that they followed me on Instagram, on TikTok, on, the podcast, said that they had either worked with me or thought about working with me or bought my resources before and how much I helped them on their journey. And that when they saw I was competing, they were like, "What? We're going to get to meet her?" Oh, and that just warmed my heart up. Some of them were like, "Girl, I thought you said you weren't going to compete." But then some of them were also like, "I get it though. And I'm so happy that we get to be here doing this with you." And I just thought that was really cool to realize the reach that my social media, that my brand has, because I do this every day and I see the people who comment, who like, but beyond the people who are active, right? Like, I can see everybody who comments, who DMs me, who, subscribes to my YouTube channel, who is, sending me links and different things like that, who purchases things. But there's thousands of you who aren't. And I get it. I'm that type of person, right? I'm not always like messaging people who I follow and liking and subscribing and all of that. I'm just tuning in. I'm like a silent lurker, a silent listener. But to realize how many people I've been able to impact, girls that I never met, that I didn't know were there, had found value from me. We're literally going through my videos throughout pageant week looking for like, "Oh, Maria did that runway routine. That's what I want to do." It felt so cool to see. And it just reminded me that after the pageant, no matter what happens, I get to go back and do work that truly lights my soul up. And I remember the days of pageantry when I would compete and I didn't have that. When I would compete and, win or lose, I would wonder what's next. And it felt really, really good and really solid to know that when pageant's done, no matter what happens, I get to go back and do this thing that I love with all my heart. And that truly fills my soul. And then I'm not wondering what my purpose is. And, that means more to me than placing in any pageant. A little bit. Placing does matter to me, just a little bit too. But you get what I mean. And just knowing that my impact was there and that I got to help these girls, it meant a lot to me. And that they came up to me and said that, and that I got to meet them. And it just reminds me that I'm going to keep showing up for my community, for my clients, for my gals. And that was just a really sweet thing that had happened. Like, even the people who were in dressing rooms with me, who were in line with me, like, they were telling me, "I'm so excited for you to be here. I'm so excited for you to be up on stage," because they knew how much of a journey it was just for me to believe in myself to get here. So I love that. That was something that nobody probably would have saw, but it meant a lot to me. So shout out to all of my gals who came up to me or who follow, who listen, everything. You who is listening to this right now. Thank you. The fourth thing. Okay. we're done with the touchy-feely stuff, okay? We're going into some spice now. The last 2 points of what you did not see at Miss Universe Canada Week, we're getting spicy again, okay? We're gonna go back to the theme of being blocked. And for some reason, people block me, okay? Like, this is not the first time I've been blocked by somebody. This will not be the last time. But I think because for those of you that follow me and those of you that know me and you're like my ride or die gals, you get that I'm polarizing. And I'm not polarizing for the sake to be polarizing and political. I just have very strong beliefs about this industry. That's how I've grown a full-time business. That's how I work with clients around the world. That's how hundreds of thousands of people tune into my content every single month. It's because I'm real and I say the things that I feel, and I'm not over here just like 3 tips to help you win. No, I don't do that. I share the real on here, the things that everybody's thinking but nobody's talking about. And I'm not here for the entire industry. I'm not here for millions and millions and millions of people to like me. Okay? I'm here for a very specific group of those people who want to have real conversations, who want me to be authentic and say what I want to, and not just say what I want to say, but say my truth about things and the things that nobody's talking about. And I get that in doing that, it's going to piss some people off. I get it. But I'm not here talking to them. And those people think I'm talking to them and they get mad at it and then they block me. Like that's the only way I can really think about it, because the amount of people that I actually have ever had an altercation with, like I couldn't even name on my hand who those people would be or why they would even care enough to block me, but some people do. So this next point that you did not see is that it has to do with being blocked. So there is and it's funny, on my notes here, I put sister queen, a sister queen of mine in a former sisterhood. I have no idea if she listens to the podcast. She very well might. Hi, good to see you again. Has had me blocked on Instagram for several years. I know this because when she won her pageant, that is the title that I've had, and I've had 6, so it's going to be a little hard to figure out which one this is. So hopefully I'm not outing anybody right now, because I'm not trying to do that. I'm not trying to call anybody out directly. But I went to go message her, and I've actually worked with her before. Not like one-on-one, but I've definitely seen her on like a class or a call. So this was very out of like character for me to want to go and message her and not be able to find her. But it was when she'd won the competition and I found out whenever somebody wins the competitions that I've been a part of, I always, almost always message them to say, welcome to the sisterhood. Almost always. If I don't, it's because, hello, there's 6 titles. That's a lot of you around the world. And sometimes your girl just gets busy and forgets, okay? But it's not because I don't care. It's not because I don't love the women who are joining the group of legacy queens that we have. Sometimes it just don't happen. But anyway, so this girl won. I went to go message her on my personal and on my pageant Instagram. Couldn't find her on either. We used to be friends on both. We used to be following each other. And then I went to go message and I couldn't. Gone. Wiped off the face of the earth. Why? I don't know. That's not the spicy part. The spicy part is that I forget if I was at prelims or finals. And then I see that she started following me. And then she DMs me and she's like, Maria, I'm so excited. We're coming to watch you. We're supporting you on stage at MUC. And I was like, what? Supporting me? What? I was like, girl, you've had me blocked for years. Now you're choosing to support me? Thanks. But sister, where were you the last several years? And like the thing is, gals, I don't care. Like I got too much life to live. I've got too much love to give that whatever people got going on, I get that blocking and unfollowing people is like people's own personal defense mechanism. I get it. But like it's just the fact that I noticed it, right? That I happen to notice it with these people and by the way, I'm on Instagram, right? If y'all are like, how does Maria know this? Like, I look at people, right? We all do. Women are the best, like, Instagram stalkers in the world, aren't we? So I'm looking up people, and when I can't find someone, I'm like, oh, that's odd. And it's one thing to unfollow someone, but like to straight up block me, I'm like, ooh, that hurts. That hurts a little bit. So I just thought it was odd to go from blocking me for several years to now showing up at the pageant, messaging me that you are coming to cheer me on. And I was like, where were you the last several years? How much do you really support me? Can we have a conversation? Like, even just keep it real, right? Even just be like, girl, I've been going through something for a few years. I didn't even have you online. I'm at the pageant. I'm so proud of you. You know what I mean? Like, there's a different energy to that. And that I would respect more versus just like black and white, right? I'm like, sure, sure. Yeah, it has, as Rowan says, it has nothing to do with you. It's her problem. That I know. That I can fully get on board with. But I just think it's interesting. It's things that you all don't see. And imagine how that could mess with someone's head going into their competition. It didn't mess with my head. I just laughed. I just, like, really, I really just laughed. Sometimes it happens. But overall, whenever anybody's like, oh, these people block me, what do? You do nothing. There's nothing you can do. You go live your life. You go enjoy. Okay. You laugh it off and then you just keep going. The fact that I've like polarized people enough to want to block me, I just think it's funny because I'm literally over here. You can't see, I've got like my pink earrings. I've got my cute pink Barbie skirt on. Like I'm just living my pageant gal life. And apparently I'm bothering people enough to the point of blocking them. Sorry, guys. Sorry. But if you're not team pageant gal, you're not team pageant gal, and that's just how it goes. But that brings us to our very last point. I didn't want to make this episode too long, but you know what? This is a fun one. So we got to get some context about these. So the very last point that I'm going to share, and I'm sure I could probably create a whole part two to this, but these ones are kind of like the main ones. The last point, the thing that you did not see that happened at Miss Universe Canada Pageant Week, and this actually happened at Pageant Week, like in the flesh, in the person, what had happened that y'all did not see. Very few people saw this, but the people who saw it saw it. I was yelled at in rehearsal by one of the other delegates. And when I tell you, this is also not the first time I've been yelled at. There's actually been a few experiences where people have yelled at me. Again, like tensions are high, pressure is on, stress is up, we're all tired. People say and do the weirdest things when they're under pressure and when they're stressed. And I feel like I am just an easy target to be yelled at because I'm not just like off in the corner like hiding, right? I'm very present in where I'm at in life, if that makes sense. But this is the story to that. And it's funny. There's like a handful of people, like I'm talking like 4 or 5 people who know that this happened because it happened just in this like small group. So we are separated into groups for the choreography. Day one, we pretty much do this rehearsal or like this try out, and you all do that. You all learn the same choreography, and then they categorize you A, B, C. I was in group B, which essentially means I got some rhythm, but they aren't putting me at the very front. They're going to put me in the middle. Group C is like, y'all stay at the back. You're going to do simpler dance moves. And then group A is like, y'all are intense. You're kicking off the show. You're going to be seen the most. You're going to be at the very front. You can hold rhythm, learn a beat, and you can learn it pretty quick. So that's the breakdown of it. So I was in group B. This happened in group B on my side of the stage, right? Because we're separated into 2 groups. My side, my group. Okay, now that we're all on the same page with that. So every every aspect has different choreography. We have different steps, right? So group A has a different choreography, group B, group C, all different choreography. On top of it, because our amazing choreographer Gino, shout out Gino, he wants to make this look like a very nice, well put together production. It's not simple. It's not like, okay, you walk out to this spot and then you clap your hands and then you walk off. It's choreography, it's counting. It's like you have to stay on and locked in because you have to know, like, you're coming off at this point, you're coming on at this point. They start, then you go. Like, it's a very active choreography that you have to know. And so there's this one part at the end when we all have to come back on, and you have to come back on, right? So we're counting, we have to listen. And this was one part that we kept missing. So I was like, okay, I need to lock in and remember and know, like, when is this happening? When do we actually go out? And so it's me and my roommate, actually. She was in the next group, and then I was in like the group ahead of them. Not that no, we were all in the same group, but they were in the line next to us. And so every time that we would go out for this part, this one girl would come like slithering through everyone and like race to the front and cut off like my roommate essentially. And I didn't think anything of it. I'm like, whatever. I can't be in charge. I know where my girls are. I have one in front of me, I have one behind me, and I was always in the middle because I'm like the shortest. So you get to be seen that way. So if they weren't there, I would find them. I'd be like, hey, come in your spot. Let's make sure we're good to go. I can't figure out where 70 other girls are supposed to be. Okay, so I don't know. I'm counting. I know girl behind me, girl in front of me. I'm trying to go out on the stage at the right time so I don't get yelled at by the choreographers. Okay, that's what my goal is. But this kept happening. It happened over and over. It happened several times that we'd all start going out. Like, so we're about to come out into the audience and onto the stage in front of the audience, and she's skirting through. So this was, I think, the day before. It was interview day. It was prelims day. I don't remember. It's all a freaking blur. But it was towards the end of the week. Hence, tensions are high and people start to show their true colors. So she looks at our small group and she says, she points at me and my roommate and she says, you and you need to realize I go first. I'm supposed to be here and I need to be the one who leads out. So you need to make sure that I am going first. And I said, again, because I can't shut my mouth like ever. I'm not one of those people who's just like, okay, like you go for. That's just, I wish in my heart and soul that was me. It's just not. And unfortunately, I don't, I, I can't deal with people who don't have common sense. Like it drives me up the wall. And if you think for a second, like if you think for a second, I'm going to be like, oh, yeah. No, I'm like, have some damn common sense. So I say to her, then you need to be there. You're not where you got to be to go out. Then you got to be there. Why is everyone else in order and you're off in Timbuktu talking to the showgirls in the back? Every single time. If you miss your mark, how is that my fault? So again, because she's looking at us and like very stern in the way she's saying it. And it's honestly kind of hilarious because if you saw who it was, you would be like, really? Really, girl? Like, get off the stage. Get off the stage. Get out of here. Okay. You would just be like, okay, sure, whatever. Take that for what you want to take it for. So anyway, so that's not even the yelled at part. So she says, I need to go first. I need to be here. I'm saying, and I'm like, okay, so you need to be there. Like I went to go say, like, I'm trying to count how many counts so we can go out. And she cuts me off. I wish if you're listening to this on the podcast, I need you to go on YouTube and watch this because I'm going to demonstrate how this was said. This has been bottled in. You see why I got to decompress this? So she goes, she said it to my roommate as well, because I think she had said something just in a lighter way, like, oh yeah, like you got to make sure you're there when we go out. And she goes, you stop talking. You have been mean to me all week. I'm not talking to you anymore. Like with her pointer finger in our faces. And I'm like, girl, we haven't talked all week. Like, you know, those people who are like, oh, she stood next to me, she bullied me. Like, I hate to say it, but that's the type of person that she is, right? Because I'm like, we have not talked all week. We have not talked all week. And now I'm like, great. So if I go and win this pageant, homegirl is going to be like, Maria bullied me all week, as if I've even spoken to you because you missed your mark. And here's the thing. I'm going to be real. I'm going to be real with podcast. I'm going to be real with you on YouTube. I'm going to be real with you on Instagram. If you are not where you are supposed to be, that is too damn bad. You don't get to go on. That's how it goes. There are girls who miss their lineup. There are girls who miss their walk. There are girls who miss their call out. There are girls who miss their dance routine. It is not anybody else's fault that you are not where you gotta be. I'm where I gotta be. I make sure that my girl in front of me, my girl behind me are where they gotta be. I don't have to. I don't even have to do that. I could just be like, I know where I gotta be. I'm gonna go out. But I'm like, okay, no, I'm gonna make sure my line is in order. But to get all pissy and be like, I'm gonna be mad at you and call you a bully and say that you've been mean to me all week because I keep missing my mark. I got no time for that. I got no time for that. And it's funny because even though there was like a small group of us, she mainly only directed her anger at me, which again, I'm like, sure, why not? People block me, people yell at me. It happens a lot in pageants. I don't know why. I think I just am a magnet for everything, good and bad. And the Lord in the universe knows that I can handle it. So she had yelled at me. And then it's funny, the other girls around me were like, are you okay? I was like, girl, the second you think that this person is going to get under my skin, like that is the day I die, because this person is not someone who is ever going to like upset me, throw me, cross me, get on my radar, get under my skin. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And no, this person didn't place or anything like that. They were get out of here. But it happens. And you know why? Like it is frustrating. It is embarrassing because I'm being yelled at and saying that I've been mean to someone all week who I've not spoken to, and not spoken to in like a I'm not talking to her type of way. No, it's just like we 70 girls, I'm not going to get a chance to talk to all of them throughout the week. Got yelled at rehearsal on stage in front of my peers. Not one of my finest moments, not one of my worst moments though, surprisingly as well. But it happens. And when I tell you, girls start to show their true colors by the end of the week. And I think that's why I've had such an insane response to the fact that I didn't place at the biggest pageant in my journey 9 years later, not placing in a pageant. Crazy. We've broken the streak, we've broken the record. But it's been my response that people are so receptive to and respectful to that has kept me moving forward, that has actually brought more opportunities on because of my way to handle pressure, because of the way that I handle stress. Y'all, it doesn't feel good. None of these situations feel great, right? Being very tired, being strained, having your muscles sore, being blocked by big pageant pages, being yelled at. Like, none of these are fun, okay? None of these are great. And like, Maria, maybe, 5, 6 years ago would have taken them a little bit harder, but I feel like I've just built such a thick skin that most of like the harsh ones, I just laugh at. I just laugh at them. And I'm like, that's on you. Why? Because I'm not over here getting mad at anybody. I'm not mad at anybody. I'm keeping my cool. I'm keeping a level head. And the bigger thing is I take responsibility for everything, right? If I did anybody wrong, I take responsibility for it. If I am like blocking your way to get somewhere, I take responsibility for it, right? If we've ever had no, I get it. I own my part in every situation in life, in pageants in life. That's always been my stance. That's always been my thing, even when it's in or out of my control. But some people, I don't know where they put the audacity or the goal, but I got no tolerance for that. But I'm going to make sure that I'm taking responsibility for what I can do. And that's where I can, laugh off some of these things and not and make a podcast episode about them to hopefully be able to humor you, because I'm sure there are a lot of people that go through these things and it gets under your skin and it really upsets you, because I remember that used to be me. It used to really upset me when some of these things would happen, like the harsher things, right? It used to get really frustrating, even if your hardest thing is that you lose your voice. Like, it's frustrating, right? And we don't realize how many people are actually going through these things, and that it's normal, and that, yeah, part of it is your mountain to climb. It's your thing that's like, okay, yeah, I've got this in my way. Am I going to let it hold me back, or am I going to let it catapult me forward? And that's where I want you to know that your response is everything. And being like always classy and elegant and level-headed and finding ways not to let the pressure get to you is going to be your best friend, especially in pageants. Because guess what? If you can't handle some of these things at the pageant week that you're at, you're not going to be able to handle them at Miss Universe, right? You always have to think like life is training you for the next level. Again, when it comes to some of like the harsher things that you didn't see. The good stuff, we'll take it all, right? We want to take it all, but we don't get stronger that way. We don't build that thicker skin that way. So, these are some things that you didn't see that happened at Miss Universe Canada. I'm sure if I dug deep, I could make a part 2, but I was like, I kind of want to keep it, to the more relevant things that I'm like, oh, I'd absolutely have to tell my community this. But if you do want to hear a part 2, message me ASAP before I forget everything about this week and just move on with my life. But we're doing a full Miss Universe Canada wrap-up series on the podcast before we go back to our regularly scheduled programming. And again, if you have episodes that you want to see, you can feel free, message me, DM me on the Pageant Gal on Instagram. If this episode resonated with you and you had something happen, I definitely want to hear about it. Send me a message. And if you're just a long-time listener behind the scenes, kisses. I love you. I thank you for supporting me. Thank you for supporting this episode. And I can't wait for you to tune in next week, where I'm actually breaking down a few things that I wish I would have done differently in my competition that I think would have helped my placement or my ability to place be a little bit stronger. So stay tuned for that. That episode is coming next week. And until then, I will see you the next time. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye.